Do you need a video? No, no. Yours to present. No. No. Hello?
Good morning, RTMC. Can you do a quick test before we start to see if there aren't any technical issues? You can screen share. I've already given you co-host permissions. And also test your mic.
Mic test. Can you hear us?
We can hear you very clearly. Can we do the screen share as well?
Like present something or something. Yeah, he has joined.
Yeah, if you have a document, because I remember last time there was a little bit of an issue that I want to avoid this morning. So if you can, it would be helpful.
Just give us a second, please. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
The volume is high.
Could you, there is a participant, Emmanuel Pasha. If you give them access to arrive to share the screen.
I already gave rights to the RTMC co-host. Do you have another laptop, or is this the only one that you're using?
No, there's one of Emmanuel Pasha.
Pasha, okay, I've seen him entering, so I'm going to give co-host rights to him as well. Just hold a second. You can go ahead now.
That's the screen.
Yeah, we can see it. Can you scroll through it quickly just to make sure that that's fine as well?
We're trying to move forward with the presentation. I think that we're able to navigate it. But now it's moving. All right.
Yeah, everything is fine from our side. You can exit the document.
Will I stop sharing?
Yes, you may stop now.
That's the one that we will be presenting.
Just a quick question: did you make any changes after you send it to the DOT? We got a copy on Thursday that we shared with the members.
No, there are no changes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Recording in progress.
Good morning, honorable members and colleagues and officials from the department. We are all most welcome. Before we start with our work for today, Ms. Valerie, if I may check with you, ma'am. I seem not to see honorable members on the platform other than myself and Honorable Ramato.
Chair, I can confirm there are 7 members present in the meeting.
Oh, which means I opened the wrong one. I didn't scroll it down. Okay, so we are good. Thank you very much for that. Good morning, honorable members. Probably still in order for me to say compliments of the new year in February, a delayed one because we're still on recess. Other than that, we hope that we had a very awesome festive season with our families, notwithstanding that we're busy with our political work as various members. At least we're still intent and our families hope so. With that, honored members, let me officially open the meeting and welcome all of you. We are not going to do any opening remarks other than to say that all of us, we have received the agenda. However, we need to deal with the housekeeping matters or preliminaries in terms of apologies. If there are any apologies, Ms. Valerie, any apologies from your side other than the one that you have shared with me of Deputy Minister Mangu and Minister Chikunga. However, the department is being led by the advocate and the CEO of the department. Are there any other apologies that I would have omitted?
No, Chair, those were the only apologies received. Nothing from the members, only those 2.
Okay, we take them as absent. Thank you very much. With that, honorable members, allow me just to talk to 2 points. One is to appreciate Advocate Nell and our researcher and our content advisor in terms of continuously updating us on the portal of our news and information. It does assist a great deal because we would not have time to read and go through all the media platforms to check what is there. But of our concern, it does help a lot. There are a number of issues that we would have observed that, but not today. Probably at NCOP, we may leave those issues so that we can incorporate them in our legacy report because we would not have time to attend to those issues since this year is quite a short quarter as it were, because we're moving towards the elections. The other one that I would like to appreciate is the appointment. We have received a letter from the minister, the appointment of the railway safety regulator. On behalf of the committee, want to advise, I know they're not here, but the advocate DG is here, that they must pay attention to the issues that would have raised by the AG, and they must ensure that they hit the road running. We're here to restore the safety of the railway line, and I'm sure that they will pay attention to those issues and also protect the infrastructure. We have observed that some of the railway lines corridors have been resuscitated, and some of the stations, in particular in the Western Cape, although Western Cape is not the only province in South Africa, but just to highlight some of what one has observed. And we wish you all the best in their endeavor to ensure that they service our community. With that, honorable members, I will then welcome the department led by the DG to take us through the RTMC on December 23-24 festive season. But if they can just ensure that they highlight the issues and how would the department would have engaged the stakeholders, and also how moving forward to ensure that probably the incidents that we would have experienced, they do get managed in a way, but accident is accident. That's why it's called accident. But nevertheless, as government, we need to respond to that to save life and the infrastructure that we are using as various commuters. With that, I will hand over to the DG Advocate, over to you, sir, and your team. You will then tell us who's going to lead the presentation. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members. The person speaking here, I raised my hand before you started the meeting, since you did not see me. It's Magoto Matala, the CFO Chairperson. I wanted to extend the apology of the DG. He's also in an extended cabinet Lekota meeting. So he requested that I lead the delegation for this morning. And then without a waste of time, if you allow, Chairperson, I'm gonna ask RTMC to take us through. And in regards to the second quarter, it will be myself and I will be assisted on the performance information by Ms. Tlengiwe, who is also on this platform. Thank you, Chair.
Now you may proceed, although I received a message that the DG will be with us today. Nevertheless, it's important for him to support the executive. You may proceed.
Honorable Chair.
Yes, you are audible.
Good morning and good morning to all esteemed officials and protocol observed. From the side of the RTMC, we wish to tender an apology for the CEO who is a pressing doctor's appointment this morning. However, he undertook that as soon as he's able to do so, he will then join the meeting. The appointment was unavoidable. We will, however, proceed with the presentation through General Manager Pacha. If that be in order, we are ready to proceed. Thank you.
Yes, you may proceed.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members, the CFO. I'm going to be sharing the presentation and I'll take the committee for the next presentation.
If you may just try to be quite audible, you seem like you are in the hall.
Oh, I'll try to raise my voice.
Okay. Now the voice is silent.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the beginning of the presentation.
Okay.
See my presentation. Okay, can everybody see my presentation?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Then proceed.
Honorable Chairperson.
Honorable CBC.
I SBC.
Okay, Honorable Stone.
Thank you very much,
My
Honorable
apology.
Chairperson.
My apology.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings to all members and the staff. Honorable Chairperson, the presenter, we don't hear the presenter. If he can get some suitable position, because we don't hear what he is saying. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
No, thanks a lot.
I'll try to come back to closer to the mic.
And stay there closer to the mic until you finish, please.
I'll do so, Honorable Chairperson. Okay, this presentation covers 42 days of the festive season, which is normally from the 1st of December to the 11th of January. And this particular one is a comparison of the 2023-24 festive period to the 2022-23 festive season. Yes, it is a long presentation, so I will try to just show the important points on each slide as I go along.
Okay, if I may also assist you to advise you, only have got 20 minutes to do the presentation.
Okay. So from this slide, what we are seeing is that there was a reduction overall of 22 crashes, which is a 2.3% reduction, and a reduction of 25 fatalities, which is a 1.7% reduction. The next few slides then goes into the crashes. The crashes. And from this slide here, what we note is that the highest reduction was from Eastern Cape at 31.3%, followed by Northern Cape at 22%, then Free State at 13.6%, then Mpumalanga at 3.3%. Western Cape had the highest increase in terms of crashes at 17.5%, followed by Gauteng at 6.3%, KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, and Northwest, all had just over 2% increases in terms of crashes. This slide here looks at the 3 festive seasons, which is 21-22, 22-23, 22-22-23, and then 23-24. And from the look of things, there has been a slight reduction year on year. In 22-23, the reduction was 6.4%. In 22-23-24, the reduction was 2.3%. And the next slide looks also at the comparison by province of crashes. Now, what we note on this slide here is that KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, and Northwest consistently decreased in crashes over the 3 festive seasons. Gauteng has consistently increased, whilst the other provinces fluctuated. One season, one festive season, they were up, the next festive season, they were down. This one here looks at the crashes per week. And as we noted, it's 42 days, which is 6 weeks, a 6-week period. The highest crashes per week was the week of the 15th to the 21st, followed by the week of the 22nd to the 28th. Now, the week of the 15th to the 21st was the long weekend, and the next weekend was also a long weekend, which was the Christmas weekend, or the weekend just before Christmas. The next slide, which is slide number 7, looks at the trends between the 2 festive seasons, and looking at the weeks also. From this slide here, we see that the trends are the same. The week of the 15th to the 21st is the highest, or contributes the highest in terms of fatalities year on year, followed by the weekend of the 22nd, or the week of the 22nd to the 25th. The next slide then talks to the crashes per time of day. When do these crashes happen? Now, from the hours of 4 o'clock to about 1 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 1 o'clock in the morning, which is the 9-hour period, combined, that period contributes 52% of crashes. But if you look at just from 4 o'clock to 3 o'clock, which is a 7-hour period, that period contributes 45% of crashes. The next slide then looks at what we classify as major crashes. And major crashes is where 5 or more people died in a single accident, or that accident involved a high-profile person, or it was carrying dangerous goods. Now, just in terms of percentages, Eastern Cape had the highest number of major crashes at 33.3%, followed by KwaZulu-Natal at 22.2%. I've just converted these things for presentation purposes into percentages, but the numbers are what you are seeing on the screen. The next slide then looks at the fatalities from major crashes. Remember, the major crashes, as we said, it's where 5 or more people demise in one accident. Again, representing the same pattern in terms of crashes. Fatalities, the highest was in Eastern Cape at 33%, followed by KwaZulu-Natal at 21.7%. And then we next look at when did these major crashes happen? What day of the week did these major crashes happen? Now, most of these crashes happened on a Sunday. At least 5 of them happened on a Sunday, which represented 27.8%. And then 4 each on Friday and Saturday at 22% each, which also goes in line with what we have been observing in our statistics, that weekends, that's when, starting from Friday up until Sunday, that is where most crashes happen, and that is when most fatalities happen. And then this next slide here, we try to look at the time of day when these major crashes were happening. There's only one that is an exception, if I were to say so, which was 1800 hours to 1900 hours, where 3 major crashes happened, followed by 1600 hours to between 1600 hours and 1700 hours, where 2 major crashes happened. And then the rest were spread throughout the day. So there wasn't any definitive pattern except to say that they were spread throughout the day. So the next few slides then looks at fatalities. So the first part was just looking at the crashes. Now this next few slides will be looking at fatalities, the actual number of people that demised on the road. From this slide, what we observe is that Free State had the highest percentage reduction at -27.4%, followed by Eastern Cape at -21.5%, then Northwest at -15.7%, then Limpopo at 8.4%, then Western Cape, Northern Cape, Northwest rather, pardon me, at 22.1%. The highest percentage increase in fatalities was in Western Cape at 22.5%, followed by Mpumalanga at 9.7%, then Gauteng at 7.6%, then KwaZulu-Natal at 4.2%. Remember, these numbers are relative to what was done or what was measured in the previous festive period. It is not the absolute numbers. If you look at the absolute numbers, the highest number of contributors would have been Gauteng, which contributed 311 fatalities in this festive season. So the next slide then looks at the split in terms of the contributors of fatalities per province. Like I said, Gauteng contributed the highest at 21.8%, followed by KwaZulu-Natal at 17.5%, and then Limpopo, Western Cape and Eastern Cape, and Mpumalanga all contributed just over 11% of fatalities. Now, if you then take the 2 provinces, KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, just between the 2 of them, they contribute 39% of fatalities in this past festive period. Similarly, on slide number 15, we look at a 3-year period. Yes, there has been a decrease looking at the 3-year period in terms of festive season fatalities. From 2021 to 2022 to 2022 2023, there was a 13.8% decrease, or 233 in terms of absolute numbers. And then from 2022 to 2023, 2022-23 to 2023-24, the percentage decrease, as we have seen already, was 1.7%, with 25 reduced 25 fatalities. The next slide then looks at the same 3-year period, but breaking it into the 3 different, into the 9 different provinces. So it's a 3-year period looking at the 3-year period looking at the 9 different provinces. Just a quick observation, we can see from there that Eastern Cape, Free State, Northwest Limpopo, and Northern Cape had reduced fatalities for the last 3 festive seasons. So consistently they have reduced, whereas KwaZulu-Natal and Western Cape and Mpumalanga had reduced fatalities in 2022-23 festive seasons and increased in 2023-23 festive season. Gauteng consistently increased in fatalities. Sorry, my previous statement was KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape, and Mpumalanga that had a reduction and then an increase, whereas Gauteng consistently increased in fatalities. Similar to what we did in terms of crashes, we looked at the fatalities per week of the 6-week period, and the pattern is also the same here. The week of 15th to the 21st of December, that's when we had the highest number of fatalities, followed by the week of the 22nd to the 28th of December. This next slide then looks at fatalities per day of the week. And we can observe also from here that this particular festive, or this past festive season, Sunday had the most fatalities on the day of the week, contributing 22.8%. Now, if you then combine the 3, if you combine Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in terms of percentages, we can say 50% of fatalities happen over the weekends. Okay? That's that slide. The next slide then looks at similar to what we looked at in the previous slide, but breaking it down per week, per province. And from this slide here, we can see that Sunday was a problematic day for most of the provinces in Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Free State, Northwest, Limpopo, and Northern Cape. So all these had their highest fatalities on Sunday, except for Mpumalanga, which had their highest fatalities on a Saturday. This next slide here looks at the road user groups, and we can see that by far the most people that demise on our roads are pedestrians at 40.9%. So we still have a problem with pedestrians on our roads. Then this slide number 21, then looks at a similar picture, but now dividing it per province. And we can see from this picture here that Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Northwest and Western Cape had the number of pedestrians being the highest in terms of fatalities for those particular provinces. And then Eastern Cape, Free State, Limpopo, and Mpumalanga, and Northern Cape, the highest number of percentage of fatalities for those provinces were passengers. And it could be because of overloading in the cars. It could be because in the other provinces, it's a one-on-one, one crash which results in 1 fatality, whereas in the other provinces, a crash would result in more than 1 fatalities. And then slide number 22, we then said, well, let's look at what time of the day do these pedestrians demise. on the roads. Now, if you look at the hours between 1900 hours and 2200 hours, that's when the most of pedestrian fatalities happen on the roads, which is sitting at 26%. So 26% of pedestrian fatalities happen during that time. Then if you look at, you extend the period a bit from 1600 hours to about 1 o'clock in the morning, in terms of pedestrian fatalities, that contributes 56%. So 56% of pedestrian fatalities happen during that particular time of the day. Then we look at fatalities per age group. Now, I will just focus on the youth, and we can extend. I mean, we can extend the range as we wish to. But I looked at the range between 25 years and 29 years. Now, that particular range contributes 42% of fatalities on the road. So 42% of the people who die on the road, in simple English, are between the ages of 25 and 39, which at ages 35 to 39 is the highest contributor at 17.1%. And then the next few slides, the Chairperson, it's just a breakdown of those fatalities per age, per road user group. So if you allow me, I will just quickly go through the percentages instead of just explaining too much, just to save time. So the same on this slide number 24, the same age group, 25 to 39, contributes 31.9%, which are passengers. And then in the next one, the same age group, 25 to 39, drivers, contributes 52.9%, meaning that 52.9%, more than half of the people that die on the roads as drivers are between the ages of 25 and 39. And then the next one is cyclists. The cyclist one is basically just spread throughout different age groups. But if you look at cyclists from the very previous slide that we spoke about, road user group, you will see that they are less than 2% of the fatalities on the roads. Okay. And then this one is pedestrians, again, between the ages of 29 and 35, 29 and 39 rather, 40% pedestrians. The next few slides then talks to the contributory factors. What contributes to these fatalities? Okay. From this slide here, we can see that 80% of factors contributing to crashes are through human error. So these are things that could have been avoidable. Okay, now human error, amongst other things, is what is listed on this slide here. So it is amongst those things. But importantly, on this slide, what I want to bring the committee to the attention what I want to bring to the attention of the committee is that if you look at hit and runs and jaywalking of pedestrians, those two elements contribute 48.3% of human errors or crashes happening because of human errors, hit and runs and jaywalking of pedestrians. And then the next one is the vehicle factor. Vehicle factor, 68% of that, it's because of tire burst, and 23% it's brake, faulty brakes. Slide number 31. These are the environmental factors. So I think it's important that we read. Okay, maybe let me just finish this environmental factors. In terms of environmental factors, 25% was poor visibility, 18% was because of the road surface being wet, and 15% was because of animals or strayed animals, drivers hitting the animals. So it is important that these three slides here, that they are read in conjunction with this slide here, 28, contributory factors. So if we say on here, for instance, on slide number 30, that vehicle factors, tire best 68%. It's not 68% of the overall, it's only 68% of the 8.8% that were caused by the actual factors. The last slide here, Chairperson, and I hope I'm doing well on time. The last slide here, we looked at the road segments that had the highest number of crashes. And this is ordered by the number of crashes on that particular road segment. Now, the road segment is it's a component of the province, the police station, the substation where this was reported, and the actual road. I mean, if you look at, for instance, N1, that even N1 in Gauteng, it covers a number of towns, so it goes through a number of towns. So we take it to the nearest police station. So from that description, Mpumalanga Nelspruit police station, the N4 had 6, Western Cape Paro, Francis van Zyl Drive had 6, but in Limpopo R37 had 6, and then the rest is indicated on that slide. Chairperson, I hope I have done well with time, and I will pause at this stage for the engagement.
Yes, you are on time. Just by 1 minute extra that you gave your sorry? Hello? I thought you said you are done. Okay. No, thank you very much.
We seem to have lost the volume from our side. We're just checking.
Okay. Are you good now? CEO, are we good with the volume?
Right, let me open it here.
Okay, I was saying that thank you very much. I'm not too sure whether you want to say something in closing, or we are good. Then I'll allow the members to engage with the presentation, which has been shared for information purposes, but also to ensure that wherever we are, also at our level best, we educate and also sensitize our communities, whether road users or non-road users, the importance of making sure that you are alert and of all your surroundings, whatever you do, or you move, you reverse, so that we stop these carnages, as it were. Because if you put this in money terms, it's quite a sizable money that it gets in a way that redirected, which has never been, budget for, as it were. And even the families that lose their loved ones through the roads carnages. With that, honorable members, let me just see if there are any interested hands to engage or to note. It seems like, I hope, Miss V, okay, there we are. If I may, assisted, who's Samsung? I don't have the name for Samsung. If we can possibly
it's KP I don't know.
Oh,
KP I don't know. Even on my side, it says Samsung, so I don't know why it doesn't change.
Okay, no, we understand the technology sometimes gets stubborn. And I note your good self, Honorable Sitole, as well as Honorable MacDonald. For now, those are the two hands. Over to you, sir. Honorable Job.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and greeting again to all members and the officials. Honorable Chairperson, first of all, I want to appreciate the report from RTMC, because actually it helped us to understand the situation of the country and to know the issues that need to be addressed. But there is some concern, Honorable Chairperson, because my request, if we can get this analysis per province, not per municipalities or the district, because it can give us some idea where most of these fatalities are happening. Because if it says it's just say KZN is very vast. If say Eastern Cape is very vast, then so that we cannot just judge and see where actually the problem are. So if that one can be corrected, Honorable Chairperson. And the other Honorable Chairperson that I'm trying to check, do they have any strategy except Arrive Alive that can help the department to actually to decrease these fatalities? Because actually is very worrying, because if it's only one person died in the family, that can cause a lot of concern in those families. So now, if you are talking about 35, about 23, 35 in Eastern Cape, 23 in KZN, it means we are talking about families that are actually in a poor condition now, because some of people that are involved in the accident are the workers. So I'm trying to check the educational strategy and the awareness campaign from the RTMC and the department as a whole, because we need to understand this thing, because it can help us to understand actually the measure that the department is facing. And the other one, Honorable Chairperson, if you can check the environmental factors, if you can actually unpack that environmental factors. Why I'm asking that one, because I was at Mnambiti to pay one of our family member who was actually involved in that flood accident that happened at Mnambiti. The accident happened at N11. There's no road, there's no water, there's no water river there. It happened on the N11 from Dundee from Newcastle to Reddy Smith. Actually, it was very shocking. So now I'm trying to check their environmental factors, if they can give us that factor. And the issue of human factors, because if you are talking about just human factors, without elaborating what kind of human factors that we are referring to, that can help us to understand, because our aim here as a portfolio committee is to help the department to do much better than what is happening now, because they wrote and the other issue that they never touch it, the factors that caused by potholes, because most of the road, the accident that happened in our road is because of potholes. They don't address the potholes. They don't prioritize the potholes, because potholes actually is causing a lot of accident. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Stolle. Honorable Magdi.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, all the honorable members. Let me first take this opportunity to welcome everybody back at work, Chairperson, all the other honorable members that are here, and the department. And it's great to be back at work. And let's start this year off with a bang. Chairperson, let me first start off with one or two things. During this presentation, and it was a very good presentation, I commend the department on it. There's just one or two small things that's really getting my blood pressure up. Some places they refer to Limpopo as LI, and other places they refer to Limpopo as LP. Whoever drafted the document must decide what abbreviation is going to use for Limpopo. When we do documents that are for presentations, you use the same abbreviation from start to finish, so it does not confuse the participants and the readers of the document that who you are referring to. So whoever's used LI for Limpopo, which I don't know, because the common abbreviation for Limpopo has always been LP. So I would like them to remedy that fact, Chairperson. Secondly, Chairperson, on the road and environmental factors, it says a lot about the state of our roads. if you go and look, it says road surfaces, other road surfaces poor, traffic lights defective, road works, blind road markings poor, inadequate, and you add all of them, we are in deep trouble, Chairperson. It means that our roads need serious attention, and people are dying because the inadequate maintenance on our roads, Chairperson. Then, Chairperson, if we go to the other human factors, they've got everything listed there. Cell phone handling, intoxicated pedestrians, but there's not a single reference to people that have perished in this country on our roads that have not been wearing their seatbelts. And that is one of the first things that people have to do when they get into the cars, to put on their seatbelts, because it's a legal requirement. But it's nowhere in this human factor presentation. We need to enforce the laws of this country, the people that enforce RTMC. It means that they're not even looking at seatbelts. It means then that everything must go back to the drawing board. What is the point of having a law that you must wear a seatbelt, but we can't even report on it? We are very quick to start legislation to reduce the alcohol limit in drivers, when 40% of the people that have died that are pedestrians, 40% of them have been drunk or intoxicated. So we need to get out of the box and think out of the box and fix the things. We can't have thousands of people die every festive season, and we sit here and we look at the poor graphs and we decide, okay, we've done better because we've done a 13% reduction. No, we must have a 50% reduction. But anyway, Chairperson, that's for the next term. This is the best that we could have done for this term. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. And you agree with me that it takes two to tango, the department and the road users and everybody else. Honorable Ramadwa, followed by Honorable How. I thought I've seen hand of Honorable Ramadwa. Honorable Ramadwa and Honorable May. If Ramadwa is not coming up, she has disappeared. Over to you, Honorable May.
Thank you, Chairperson. My question was asked by Honorable Stoling. How many accidents happened as a result of potholes in South Africa? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me just give it a try to Honorable. No, I don't even see her on the platform now. No, that's fine. We can proceed. CEO and the team, if you may respond. And I'm sure that you were noting the questions. And those details, those ones who you might not have them in terms of the specifics, like the breakdown to municipalities, please say it up front so that you don't get inaccurate information, but the house, the principal matter in terms of the turnaround of that within the hours, which means if it's today, by next week, Tuesday, it should have been received by our PC secretary. Over to you. You may respond.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Pasha will cover the first question that relates to concern around the analysis per district and municipalities. I will take the one for the Arrive Alive and note other ones that we do not have responses to. For example, the issue of the state of the road is not within the mandate of the RTMC. It's within the mandate of provinces and the standard, depending on where the fatalities took place. But in short, Mr. Pasha, can you take us through the first one, the segmentation of districts and municipalities, and I'll follow with the question, the one of the strategy.
Yeah, Chairperson, thanks, Ian. Chairperson, we do have that data right up to street level. Of course, in a presentation like this, where we are just looking globally at the country, we don't present those stats. But normally when we meet with the provinces and the district within those provinces, or the municipalities within those provinces. We then provide that data to each province because it's basically a lengthy presentation. But if the committee so feels that they need that information, we are ready and able to prepare that information, and we can forward it to the Secretary.
Chairperson, if I may proceed, I will then onward respond to the one of the strategy outside the Arrive Alive as asked by Honorable Member Sitole. The response is there is 3 strategies that are intertwined, if I were to put it that way. Namely, we have the Cabinet approved National Road Safety Strategy 2016 to 2030. We also have the United Nations Decade of Actions. There we have 2, Honorable Chairperson. The first one, 2011 to 2020, followed by the 2021 to 2030, which is currently now being implemented. And then at an operational level, outside the 2 strategies, which are interlinked, they should not be interpreted as separate. They are really interlinked. There's at an operational level what we call a 365 operational plan, which is largely informed by the 2 strategies that I've referred to, translated in an operational mode for execution, for law enforcement and road safety execution. Insofar as road safety education programs are concerned, we have tailor-made road safety programs that are targeting the youth, for example, and pedestrians that we are executing as the RTMC in conjunction with our stakeholders in municipalities and metropolitan areas and districts. That then responds to the question relating to the strategy. The one of information relating to how many accidents do we have as a result of potholes, we don't have it currently at this stage. We can establish from our counterparts and maybe provide that information at a later stage, if so required, Honorable Chairperson. The other points as raised by other members, we do note, and will certainly consider and add them into our next reporting cycle and focus on them. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And I'm sure members also would be interested to get a breakdown in respect of Eastern Cape as well as the Western Cape, because they seem like they are not going down in terms of their stats, as it were. But also probably as honorary members or public representatives, wherever we're given a space, we should also talk about these issues and their financial and human setup, that it does impact negatively. Even the funds and the families that get poorer more than yesterday because of these incidents, it does also raise the level of inequality within our societies. And I think, Honorable Sitole, I'll agree with you and Honorable May that without probably the perception, but also a scientific driven one at a municipal level, the impact of the potholes in terms of the road accident, as it were. However, the point that I think we are saying here is that they shouldn't be from the part of the government that we don't do in terms of road maintenance, that also do contribute on the road carriages. And also other partners that we need to partner with. We are churches, we are tavern or licensed tavern owners, as well as general community in terms of all other partners that we partner with in any other matters. And this one also must be one of our priorities when we do get a chance to talk about these issues, even the issue of wearing seat belts and cell phones and all those things, that any mistake or distraction does kill, and it does really kill, and we must be careful and stay alive. Other than that, thank you very much, CEO and your team. on this one. We shall move. Miss Valerie, you will assist me if there's a blind spot in terms of seeing other hands, but in terms of time allocated for this presentation, I think we're on time. We may proceed now to get a briefing from the bill, honorable members, that has been referred back to us from the NCOP, the bill on National Road Traffic Amendment Bill of B7D 2020. It has been referred to us, and I will request, I guess it's the Advocate Nell or Dr. Ngezi, but I think it's Advocate Nell, because it's within us in Parliament. If you can take us through that.
Chair, may I come in here?
Okay, no, that's fine, because I wanted to say if we don't need the department, but I think Mr. from the department is Advocate, is it 2C or 2, I can't remember. If you may come in then on Ms. V, probably you may assist with them to lead us.
Yes, Chair, at the stage that the bill is in, the committee will be discussing the issues and the input with the presenters, which are the legal advisors from Parliament. So for the ERT bill is Ms. Gangan, she's in the meeting. And for the traffic amendment bill, it is Ms. Pumalele Ngema, who will be joining us shortly as she's attending another meeting, but Ms. Gangan is in the meeting and ready to start with the ERT bill.
No, wait, Ms. Valerie. We are talking about 2 bills. Oh, yes, I've skipped the other one. Yes, I've skipped the other one. Okay, let's start with economic. Having said that, Department CEO, it's up to your team if they want to be excused. But those your team members that deals with the bill for the matter of interest, it will be advisable just to follow us on our discussions here. But if you've got other commitments, you are at liberty to leave the meeting or the platform. Okay, over to you, our legal person that will take us through on economic regulation of transport bill that has been referred to us from the NCOP.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning to all on the platform this morning. I'm the legal advisor at Parliament, and I'm going to take the committee through the changes that were made during the NCOP process. On the platform, I have with me my colleagues from the State Law Advisor's Office, as well as my colleagues from the department. I will take the committee through the changes, and my colleagues are at liberty at any stage to raise any issues or to just advise if I've left anything out. They may come in after. Chairperson, may I switch off my video?
Yes, before you switch off your video, before you go any further, also do advise us in terms of the weighting of and the implications of those changes. Whether are they cosmetic or are they substantive in terms of the bill?
Yes, of course, Chairperson. I have done a presentation, Chair, that I would like to flight. Valerie, do I have sharing rights?
Yes, you do, Ms. Gangan. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you. So as I've mentioned, I'm going to be dealing with the Economic Regulation of Transport Bill, the D version that was passed by the National Council of Provinces. So in terms of process and what has happened thus far, the Select Committee, after considering the negotiating and final mandates from the provincial legislatures, as well as public submissions, have deliberated on the B version of this bill which has resulted in various amendments. The approved amendments, which were contained in a C list, then culminated into the D version of this bill, which is before this committee for concurrence. I'm going to take the committee through and I'm going to explain the changes. So in terms of clause 1, we have the committee changed on page 6 in line 31. We've changed the word, after the word value, we've omitted the word exist, and we've substituted it with the word exists. And the committee will see that this is purely a grammatical correction. In terms of clause 3, on page 7 of the bill in line 54, after the word transport, we've omitted the word industry and we've substituted it with the word sector. So this is not a substantial correction. It merely aligns the language of the bill with that which is contained in the rest of the bill. On page 8, in line 1, after the word safety, we've inserted the word climate change. This enhances the bill. So it was recommended during the NCOP process that climate change considerations are linked to economic viability. And so we've enhanced it and we've inserted the words climate change. Clause 5 on page 9 in line 41. After the word infrastructure, we've omitted the word will, the words will continue, and we've substituted it with the word continues. This is purely a grammatical correction. On page 9, in line 46, after the word in agreements, we've inserted the phrase that relate to rail infrastructure or facilities. And the recommendation was to qualify this phrase so as to include all existing agreements and to restrict its meaning to agreements that relate to rail infrastructure and rail facilities. On clause 8, on page 10 in line 30, after the word access, we've omitted the word applicant and we've substituted it with the word seeker. So during the NCOP process, it was recommended that the term access applicant be changed to access seeker to bring it in line with the rest of the bill. So it isn't a substantial amendment. On page 10, in line 51, after the word so, to omit the word will and to substitute the word with may. And this is to bring it in line with the rest of the bill. Clause 9, on page 10, in line 57, after the word regulator, we've omitted the comma. That's purely grammatical again. Clause 11, on page 12, in line 37, after the word regulator, we've omitted the comma before the M dash. That is a drafting style, so that's grammatical. Clause 12, on page 13, in line 21, we've omitted the 9 and we've substituted it with 11, and that's a numerical change to make the numericals flow. Clause 13, so on page 13 from line 25, we've omitted subsection 1 and we've substituted with the following section. But the substitution really has to do with the spelling of the word license. We've changed the spelling from L-I-C-E-N-S-E-D to, sorry, it was L-I-S-E-N-S-E-D, and we've changed it to L-I-C-E-N-S-E-D. Once again, it's language. Clause 28 on page 18 in line, excuse me, in line 7, after the words on the, to omit the word site and to substitute it with the word website. So we've just put the full word, once again, grammatical. Clause 29 on page 18, in line 47, after the word regulators, to omit operational rules and to substitute with functions. And that's just a grammatical change. On page 36, clause 36, on page 22, in line 24, after the word accounting, to insert engineering, and this was to enhance the qualifications, thereby enhancing the bill. Clause 38, on page 23 in line 16, after the word act, to omit the comma, that's a grammatical change. And then on clause 42, on page 24 from line 30, to omit subsection 3 and to substitute it with the following section. 3, any request for research made to the regulator in terms of subsection 2 must be considered on the merits of its reasonableness and benefits to the industry, after which the necessary funding arrangements may be made by the regulator and other interested parties. So this was just a change. Clause 43 was supposed to be corrected, and we've reflected it as clause 42, just to align the bill with the B version of the bill, so it's numerical. Clause 54, on page 30, in line 14, after the word subsection, to omit the 2 in comma, inverted commas, and to substitute it with 1. So there was a proposal that the cross-referencing of clause 54.2 be amended as proposed below. So 54.2, before making any regulations in terms of subsection 2, we've changed it to 1. The minister must publish the proposed regulations in the Gazette for public comment for a period of at least 30 days. Clause 60, on page 33 in line 16, after the word at least, we've omitted the word 5 and we substituted with 7, so we've increased time frames. And the recommendation during the NCOP process was that we consider changing the period to 7 days, which everybody was in agreement with. Clause 69, on page 35 in line 13, after the word person, to omit the word will and to substitute it with is. It was recommended that the word will be changed to is, because if we left it as will, it would have read will deemed, which doesn't make sense. So we've changed that to is. In terms of the schedules, on page 36 in line 18, after the word manner, we've omitted the phrase directed under 33, or 2 on page 36 in line 27, after the word regulator, to omit directed under section 33 and to substitute it with as. On page 36 in line 32, after regulator, to omit by direction under section 33, or and on page 37 in line 19, after the word license, to omit will operate and to substitute with operates. Now section 1.2 of schedule 1, I'm just going to explain the above changes. So section 1.2 of schedule 1 to the bill provides for the repeal of sections 29 to 45 of the National Ports Act. But notwithstanding that repeal, sections 1, 3, 4A and 4B of the schedule continues to provide for appeals and complaints to be lodged in terms of section 33 of the National Ports Act. And then the question was, how can we rely on section 33 of the National Ports Act if sections 29 to 45 of the National Ports Act was repealed in schedule 1 of the bill? So we've made those changes just to make the bill make sense. And those were the only changes during the NCOP process. Chairperson, I will allow my colleagues from the department or from the state law advisors to come in if I've omitted anything. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Our state law advisor, is there any blind spot or omission, or would like to amplify some of the changes in the clauses? Over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Dr. Harichan, State Law Advisor. We've worked on the C-list amendments together with the Parliamentary Legal Advisor and the department, and all the amendments of the Select Committee have been captured in the C-list. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, here is a brief on the amendments that has been made by NCOP, which some of them you may package them and say they are more technical. What is worth noting is the insertion of the climate change, noting the bill that it was for 2020, and now we're at 2024. In 2022, we had a disaster that was declared by our government or by us through the president, and it is logically correct also to insert that, so that we demonstrate that we are alive and appreciate that the climate change is here to stay with us. And you recall that towards the end of the year, both houses also appointed members that will sit on the climate change committee. But I'll leave it to you, so that if there are any areas or engagement that we'd like to do, or we say we accept the recommendations inserted by the NCOP, which are more technical, and as well as the one that might be substantive, but they have gone through their public participation processes, through their what you call it, their processes in terms of engaging provinces. Honourable members, there are no hands. Of course, it's up to us whether we agree with the cosmetic technical amendments and amendments. Since there are no hands, may I put before this committee that, yes, indeed, we have received the amendments made by the NCOP, and the committee agrees with the amendment as presented. And then we approve for it to be presented before the National Assembly.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Stole, over to you. I think you are assisting now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My hands was up, so I don't know. It shows some sound.
Oh, no. Okay, now I can see it. My apology. My drop was very low.
Okay, my sister. Thank you very much, and thank you for the presentation. Honorable Chairperson, I was trying to check on clause 29, where they said we have to omit operational rule and substitute with functions. If that one can be, what is the difference between the operational and then functions? And the other one, Honorable Chairperson, is clause 36, where they are talking about accounting. It means we have to omit accounting and insert with engineering. If technically, what does those mean? Because they have two educators that give us some clarity. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Okay. Ms. Feller, are there any other hands that I might have omitted? With silence, that means that there are no hands. Over to you. May you respond, our state law advisor, if you may? Or is Ms. Rakasha? Are the presenters still in the meeting?
Yes, we are, Chairperson.
Okay.
Chairperson, in regards to clause 29, and where the words operational rules were substituted with the word functions, I think it is more of a drafting style that was selected to use the word functions, and that was the reason why that amendment was made. And with regard to clause 36, the word after the word accounting to insert the word engineering, that amendment was made in order to bring the bill that clause in line with the rest of the bill, which also uses that similar wording where accounting and engineering was used in that context. And that was the reason why those amendments were made. Thanks, Chairperson. I'm not sure if the Parliamentary Legal Advisor has anything to add as well. Thank you.
Chairperson, I just want to clarify, if I may. So the insertion of the so clause 38. So what we did was after the word accounting, we didn't delete the word accounting. After the word accounting, we've inserted the word engineering. So we've just enhanced that requirement, you know, to bolster the bill. So we didn't take away the accounting, we've just added engineering. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay, with that, I guess the committee members are good with the amendments, because from our side, we cannot do any amendments because it was coming from us to the NCOP. And for us, then, if we agree, honorary members, on the 20th of this month, we will be then dealing with the report, which then will be tabled before the NA. But in this engagement here, the mood and the spirit, since no one has said contrary, is that we accept and agree with the amendments that have been made by the NCOP. It's for us for concurrence, which then the report then will be taking care of that on the 20th. With that, honorable members, and thank you very much, our legal team and our state law advisor, we shall proceed. I will continue to say, Ms. Valerie, if there are any hands, do alert me. For now,
Chair.
I don't see hands. Yeah.
Chair, Ms. Gangan's hand is up. I'm not sure if that's a follow-up or if her hand is still up for a new issue.
Okay.
Thank you, Valerie. Chairperson, my colleague, Ms. Ngema, is currently in another committee meeting. She's literally jumping in between. She's got 3 committee meetings at the same time today. So, Chairperson, I wonder if I could assist the committee and take the committee through her presentation. It is a relatively short, uncomplicated presentation. It's not my bill, but I would like to assist her. And she also has no sound. So she's trying to enter to hop in, but she really has no sound. And I said to her that I could try and assist the committee with your permission, Chair.
Okay, and if you can assist me, which one are you assisting? Because I was just about to call for the presentation for the National Road Traffic Amendment.
This is the one. Yes, Chairperson.
Oh, you're referring to that now. Over to you then, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, let me just try and share. If you could just bear with me, please.
Yeah, now it's about, yes, we can see your screen now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. So, as indicated, I'll be assisting the committee going through the National Road Traffic Amendment Bill, D version, passed by the National Council of Provinces. So similar to what I had explained in terms of process, the process that had unfolded here was much the same. The Select Committee on Transport and Public Service and Administration, Public Works and Infrastructure deliberated on the B Bill, which resulted in various amendments after considering negotiating and final mandates from all the provincial legislatures as well as the public submissions.
Can I just interject you 1 second?
Yes.
Ms. Gangan, your hand is up.
Sorry, Chairperson. Let me just see if I can get rid of my hand.
Oh, okay, talking at your hand up. Okay, proceed.
If I may just proceed, Chair, and I'll try and
Yes,
get rid of the
yes.
hand. Thank you, Chairperson.
Oh, thank you so much.
the amendments that were approved by the NCOP to the B7B 2020 bill was set out in the C list and was incorporated into the D version of that bill, which now serves before this committee for concurrence. So, and then just a further explanation. So when a bill has been passed and referred to the NCOP, the council must do one of three things to a bill under section 76(3), 4, or 5. The NRTA is a bill that deals with public transport, which is a functional area that falls under Schedule 4 of the Constitution. And section 76(1)(c) is a procedure where the NCOP passes and amends the bill. The committee is now seized with the B7D version, which is amended by the second house after the first house had finalized its process. Section 76D is a mediation process that may follow should this committee propose a resolution that the NA rejects the NCOP amended bill. So in terms of the amendments, I'm just going to go through what was changed. Clause 2 was amended for an incorrect referencing on numbering, so it was not a substantial correction. Clause 6 dealt with offences that officers mentioned once they were convicted, they must be removed from such offices that they were appointed into. There was a suggestion from submissions that all scheduled offences under the CPA, the Criminal Procedure Act, must be included, and that was given effect to here. Clause 11 amends the insertions added after Section 5 of the Principal Act, where the legislature regulates manufacturing and embossing of number plates for vehicles. So there was some in the chain where they felt that the C list could add manufacturers to the list operator, supplier, and persons who embossed number plates, and those who operated at microdot fitment centers. So I think that the effect of Clause 7 was to amend these insertions, to include these people. Clause 17 dealt with qualifications for officers within the testing centers. Right, so I'm just going to read, if there's any, Chairperson, if there's any difficulty with Clause 17 or if it needs to be expanded upon, I will come back to that. So Clause 18 achieves the same as Clause 17. So it was, I think it may have been, a duplication of intent. Those were literally, Chairperson, the only changes by the NCOP. So as I said, I just want to go back to Clause 17. It dealt with qualifications, that dealt with the officers at those testing centers. And the phrase that was used was suitably qualified, must be appointed by the minister. So the provision was amended to bolster that, to just open up, to cover more qualifications so that you could justify the appointment of those officers at those testing centers. So I think it was enhanced so as to bolster those qualification requirements. Chairperson, those are literally all the changes.
Okay.
But like I said, yes. Sorry, Chairperson.
Continue.
No, Chair, I was done. I was saying if there are any questions, I will happily take them and then revert. Alternatively, I see that the content advisor, who was part of the initial process, has raised a hand. So perhaps Ms. Nell wants to come in, Chairperson.
I can see that hand. Let me check if there's any other hand. Advocate Nell.
Chair and members. Chair, just I see the slides did not include a few other amendments that were in the C bill. So I just want to inform members per the notes that I did send members. The amendments don't stop at clause 18. There were also some amendments to clause 21, 32, 40, 41, as well as the long title, Chair. Chair, I'm just going to do a screen share.
Yes, if you can take us through that, Advocate, for the completeness of the presentation, it will help also for record purposes, notwithstanding that, yes, indeed, we have received the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I'm just trying to get my alignments here. Okay, here we go. So, Chair, this just to refresh members, that clause 2, it really was just a numerical correction there of the Roman numbers. Clause 6 is just adding all those schedules that are referred to in the Criminal Procedure Act per the submissions received from the change there in 11, Chair, it was to insert supplier or operator. So it really runs through all those various, there's a whole list of amendments under the 5s. The 5A up to J was where the last inserts there was. It's just for consistency, Chair, so that we also refer to the manufacturer and suppliers and not just manufacturers. Clause 17 is indicated, 17 and 18 was that addition of suitably qualified. So it's it broadens the scope to make sure that any person that is appointed here is suitably qualified to serve the purpose. And then, Chair, the clauses that were not in the slides. Clause 21 is just to insert reference to fraudulently, so that the action is not, person shall not fraudulently, willfully, or negligently. So we just add fraudulence in there. Clause 32 was after such to insert learners. It's just to make sure that the reference is correct because it speaks of the learners and the driver's licenses. But in the B version of the bill, we did not have the reference to learners. It just said such license or driving license. So this just ensures that the bill reads better. Then clause 40, Chair, it is rather than having the long explanation of firefighting vehicle, firefighting response vehicle and such, we just stick to the reference of any such, it's a emergency vehicle because there is a definition in the bill on emergency vehicles. So that is why they made that proposed amendment. For 41, Chair, it's just an addition of A so that it reads correctly. Otherwise, it was going to be an. And then in the long title, Chair, it's really just that reference that Ms. Gangan mentioned of the schedules. So they are taking out the reference of Schedule 1 or 1 of 2 of, and they just corrected to a reference to the Criminal Procedure Act because they've added all the other schedules in that section, Chair. So it's just to make sure that it is a full briefing to members on all the amendments that are in the D version. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Advocate and Ms. Gangan. Thank you so much. And I think the way you have packaged it, it's more or less the same as the one that you have just dealt with of economic regulation of transport, which is a matter of numbering, consistency, and correct referencing as it were. Honorable members, same applies on this one, that the approach is the same that is before us for concurrence, noting that us here at this level, at this stage, we cannot make any amendments. If there are any, then it has to go for mediation. But it doesn't then means that there should no be points of clarity or input from the members. I know now it's Honorable Stole with Samsung. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, Section 76, the first bullet. When they so now it doesn't say or when the bill or what we say when they has passed. If the I think need to.
Jobe, can we just ask them to flight it for us as you make reference
Okay.
to it? Yeah. Please, Ms. Gandian or advocate, if you may go to that section 76. Part. Okay. You may proceed, Honorable Stone.
There's the first bullet. It says when the has passed. So what I'm trying to see that is that when the bill or it just say they has passed. I think that one need to be corrected. There's something wrong.
Okay. 2.
There's the last one, Chair.
Okay. Okay. No, thank you very much. Tim, if you may respond. Thanks so much, Honorable Jobe.
Thank you, Chairperson. I literally think it was just an omission of the word bill.
Oh, okay. So it's
Thank
more of
you.
a grammar and logic in terms of the whole sentence. Okay.
It's a typographical error. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Samsung, your hand is still up. Job, isandla sakho sisemile. But I do understand.
Chair. Thank you,
Okay,
Chair.
thank you.
Otherwise,
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable members, I guess since there are no other hands, Ms. Valerie would have advised me if I've omitted any other hand. I take it that the committee accepts the amendments made by the NCOP, which we really appreciate that they did pay attention to this bill. And also they did take care of the input that has been made by provinces. Then on the 20th of February, we'll be engaging or looking on the report for approval by ourselves on the 20th for the consideration of the National Assembly. Then we're still on course on that. For record purposes, I make this statement so that we are clear when we're dealing with the report that we didn't have any reservations. Otherwise, we did understand the logic informs the recommendations. With that, let me once more thank all the teams, the State Law Advisor and Parliamentary Legal Services, as well as Advocate Nell on this work. And thank you very much. Then, honorary members, we shall proceed now to receive a summative report on the committee attendance to UITP training course on tendering and contracting. You will agree with me, honorary members, that we should pay attention to the recommendations on this one. The report is coming here for noting, but we felt that the delegation was not representing themselves, they were representing the committee. Notwithstanding that there was a capping in terms of how many members may go to this workshop or training, let me use the word training, which had empowered those ones who attended the relationship of the implementation and or the application of programmatizing of the policies and the laws that governs any government and other lessons from other countries. But I must say that you will agree with me when we're looking at making recommendations that we don't believe that it's fair for a committee that is composed of more than 5 members, for argument's sake, and you say they must pick among themselves who go for international study tour or trainings, as it were, as the committees, because then it disadvantages other 5 members or 6 members that would not be accommodated, but also the negative impact that has put on committees whereby there's a basket, a center of a budget for all committees. So you are not too sure as the committee when you are advised that the funds has been exhausted, haven't been not committed or been any trainings or overseas or abroad or domestically in Africa study tour in terms of sharing the lessons and implementation and oversighting on other areas that we can borrow lessons from for bettering our work here. That I think you'll agree with me that policy decision that was taken that all monies for this purpose must be in one basket, that it must go back to their committees so that you know and pre-plan in the beginning of the term of your committee to say these are the things that and areas that we would love the committee members to be empowered on, so that all members as well, they should attend to those trainings and workshops or international or domestic in Africa study tours, because it's not a tour actually. I think we need to change the word tour, because it says like we are going for an excursion, but it's more than that we do with all the treaties that we would have signed with other countries pertaining a given portfolio committee through the department on behalf of South Africans. With that, Advocate Nell as well as Dr. Ngezi, I'm not too sure between the two of you, but just talk to substantive matters other than the more of administrative logistic issues. Over to you. Ms. V, I'm right if I say Advocate Nell. Even that one for the content advisor and the researcher not accompanying the committee, whereas are the ones that are supposed administratively to write the report. There is a missing link in terms of linkages in terms of the responsibilities in committees. Over to you, Advocate, and thank you very much for doing this through Ms. Valerie, who was with us as well. I know she has been constantly sharing notes with you so that you are ready with this report. And the members that went for the study tour, they did meet and they did look at and agree on the report that is going to be presented. Over to you, ma'am.
Chair, you may indicate how much detail should be provided for the report, since it was sent to members, and since it was more content-based, how deeply should we go into the overview? Or can we consider that members would have read the report already and that we can only give an overview?
Let's give it 10 minutes, and members, we assume correctly, as you are saying, that they've read the report. Then let's deal with the high helicopter overview as well as the recommendations.
Chair, then I will outline the discussions, the course notes, and then Advocate Nell and possibly Dr. Ngesi will go into the lessons learned, because Advocate Nell prepared even before the committee when she drafted prep notes on how the course in tendering and contracting in public transport, the training could be linked to the South African context. So she could possibly talk about that. Then I will just outline briefly what the course entailed and who the members would have met on the course itself.
The area that the members would have received, because everybody is aware who went. Which means now we are pushing me to add 5 minutes for the whole presentation, regardless how many people make a presentation. Over to you.
I'll be quick, Chair. The members would have read the report in public transport. It was held in Belgium, Brussels, from the 26th to the 28th of September, and it was hosted by the UITP, which is the International Association of Public Transport. They do courses and conferences on public transport on a regular basis, and this was the course that the committee attended. Although it was not a study tour, the committee met with the ambassador, as well as the vice chairman of the transport committee in the EU. The members who were there were informed that the EU Parliament was in recess at that stage. So the vice chairman made some time available to meet the committee. Chair, then the background to the training was outlined in point 1.2, that the training would look at the different contracting models based on competitive tendering, and also aims at addressing general consideration and high-level discussions on contracting and tendering. The objectives were to broaden the knowledge on institutional and regulatory framework of public transport, allow members to gain a deeper understanding of the route in tendering and network tendering, including the roles and competencies of various actors, including the risk and the responsibility shared between authority and operator, the quality incentives in contracts, etc. And this was mostly done to further members' understanding of the contracting in terms of the oversight role, and to make informed technical policy suggestions and recommendations. It was highlighted that most importantly, most of the bills that are before the committee regulates technical bodies by their nature in terms of transportation in general and maintenance and managing thereof. Then, Chair, I will go into the methodology because it was a course. It's mostly focused on interactive plenary sessions where presenters were presenting the information, followed by open discussions by the trainers from the UITP. I will quickly go through. I've already indicated that the committee had courtesy meetings with Ambassador and the Vice Chairperson of the Transport and Tourism Committee. Then the training happened on the 26th to 28th of September, focusing on the regulatory framework and the relationship between operators and authorities. And the presenters highlighted the different options of tendering and contracting. They outlined the main contracting risk. It was all outlined in the report that was given to members. Then there was a course on the European Union affairs, where it focused on Regulation 1370 of 2007 of the EU. So an overview was given of the EU context in terms of tendering and contracting. Thereafter, there was a course on public transport regulation and organization, especially focusing on the role of public transport authorities. The presenter outlined the different types of transport authorities, which focus on network and modal integration. And then after that, there were presenters from different countries. There was a presenter from Copenhagen, Amsterdam, and Dijon, talking about the different options in tendering and contracting that they apply in their different countries. First starting with a gross cost route-based competitive tendering, as outlined in Copenhagen. Members were taken through what context they operate in, the division of risk, how the contractors operated, how they focus on quality management systems. All of the information is in the report. Thereafter, it went onto the Amsterdam case study, which focused on direct award contract. Overview was given of the different concessions in terms of the different cities, starting with Amsterdam, Zaanstreek, Waterland, and Amsterdam near London. The concessions, the roles of the parties, as well as how they do contract revision, how many times it's required, what it entails. The last presenter was from Dijon, which focused on the multimodal network contracting, and who the operator is, how they operate, what does the contract entail, as well as evaluation of contracts. Then Advocate Nel, not sure if you want to take the committee now through the South African context because I'm done with the coursework.
Thank you, Chair and Valerie. Chair and members will see there number 4, which deals with an overview of how the public transport tender and contracting works in South Africa. Predominantly, we use it for the different bus services, and the one rail service that we currently have it is for Gautrain. You get an operator to run the service for you. We outline the legislation involved with contracting and tendering. Then we look at the industry, and we list the various legislation that deals with the financing and the types of services that are available in South Africa. We also look at one of the first tasks of the Department of Transport post 1994 was to establish a new policy framework for transport. And that is where we got the notion of the contracting. The different types are interim contracts, or the interim contracts came in first when there was the transition in legislation. Then we had the negotiated contracts, which was mainly your first batch with the bus operators like Golden Arrow, Patco and Gauteng. Then we have another overview of the applicable legislation, because after the negotiated contracts, we got the full contracts, or the 4 model type contracts that we got in legislation. So we'll have an outline of the Constitution, PFMA, various Treasury regulations, the triple PFA, National Treasury Practice Notes, and then our big one, the National Land Transport Act. And in terms of that one, sections 40 to 46 gives us the different types of contracts that we use in public transport. Then, Chair, just to look at point 5, the coursework that members underwent when we compare to the South African experience. We do have the move towards expanding our transport and our services within the African Union as well as SADC. And this is the only difference. We don't have a nice example of how we would do our public transport from South Africa into the broader areas like they did present in the European context. It's not regulated as strictly as it is in Europe at the moment, and this is where we have our cross-border issues. But we do see the main people here. PRASA, when we do, if there's a consideration of opening our rail works, which is the policy, to have third parties on the rails, could have there. Gautrain is a current example of how it can be done on rail. And then again, outlining the different BRT systems and the provincial bus services like Patco and Golden Arrow and Northwest Star. We do see quite an alignment between the various types of contract role players as well as the types of contracts from what was presented. And then just the indication there at the end that the successful use of the legislative provisions and quality contracting to provide quality public transport will depend on the eradication of fraud and corruption in contracting institutions, as well as the improvement of supply chain management policies to ensure proper public financial management by all state institutions and entities involved in the provision and regulation of public transport. So, Chair, that is just tying the coursework in with the South African experience so that we have a comprehensive report. Thank you, Chair.
I apologize, I've muted myself. Thank you, Advocate Nell and Ms. Valerie. Was Mr. Dr. Ngezi going to make any presentation? Or guess it's a teamwork?
Good morning, Chair. No, good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. No, I'm covered by the presentation, unless there are issues that I'm expected to respond to that are specific. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Tim. Honorable members, here is the account and SA comparison to other countries as and the methodology of the training that members attended. Any taker noting that I have made outside the presentation to say that in our legacy report, we must also recommend to the 7th Parliament that the budget allocation for this type of activities for committees must be allocated to committees, so that for better planning of committees, so that they know upfront that in this term of 5 years, this is an overstudy tour, whether it's domestically or abroad, that will engage on or partake in, and rationally informed by the plan that the committee would have developed in the beginning of the term. So that even the AG, when the AG assess the performance of the committee in terms of its plans and implementation and follow up on those matters, we do not find ourselves wanting in that space, which would be the second one is the composition of the members also. It is advisable that the 7th Parliament must also look at the whole committee component, including your content advisor and your researcher, because those are the key people in the performance of the committee. Because the secretary to the portfolio committee deals with the logistics in a nutshell. So that will be what I would like to recommend to this committee for insertion to our legacy report. Any taker to that? Honorable Kumalo. It's only you, ma'am, who's got a hand up. Over to you, Honorable Kumalo.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm not too sure whether my apology did arrive and was accepted. That I had a serious poor connectivity to the load shedding that we have in the area. I know I've missed a lot that had happened previously in the committee, but Chairperson, I think I wanted to have or to have a take on what we have said. Thank you for the layout that you have made, particularly on the issue of the study tour. Just want to repeat the waiting tour, although we said we need to have a better wait than a tour. Chair, let me start with the last one that you talked about. That I think the component issue must be a serious, should be taken serious in such a way that as a person, I feel that members should attend in any tour or study tour that the committee has to attend. Members has to be in attendance as they attending the portfolio committee, so that they benefit in whatever that the committee is going to learn about in whatever country. I'm saying this because, Chairperson, there are a number of things that we have learned when we compare us as South Africa on what we are doing to what we have learned. Some of members that did not attend that study tour has missed something, because I don't believe or trust that what has been presented can be enough to them that they can learn and take and try and implement to our country or in our committee, so that maybe if needs be, we can be assisted as country. I wanted to share that with you, to say it was very much important that members must attend in numbers. So we do trust as members of the portfolio committee that the 7th portfolio committee will look at that, and members that will be serving in the committee will be accommodated, and we must leave a legacy to say it was like this when during our time. Now it has been changed. Everybody is accommodated. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kumalo. With that, I believe I see no other hand, and likely that you complete your sentence, because I could hear that you are starting to break. Honorable members, the report is noted, and the rest will be included in our legacy report as the understanding, since there are no hands. With that, honorable members, let me thank the team that have made the presentation, and we shall then proceed to the second last item, consideration of the first term PC draft program, which members have agreed. The only probably it's worth highlighting, because the rest is the same what has been circulated late last year, is the 23rd of February, where we have also included the presentation by RAF. And what informs that, honorable members, is that you will recall that we were invited, I want to put it polite in that way, that we were invited. I don't want that to say that we get crashed the meeting of SCOPA, but we were invited to a SCOPA meeting, in particular when they were dealing with the transport related matters, because that was our view, because sometimes you'll find that they will deal with the issues that are overlapping to the current financial year, as it were, which is our responsibility in terms of oversighting on those responsibilities. But its nature, it's like that. And we felt that we must be then, instead of fighting who invites who, let's join SCOPA. At that point, they were dealing with draft matters. And from our observations, those members who attended, the view was that probably we might not necessarily attend all the SCOPA meetings like today. They are sitting and we are sitting. However, there's one or two issues, policy matters or programmatic matters that we can take from their engagement with SCOPA, which might also enrich our oversight work, as it were. But what we observed in that meeting, the two meetings that some of us we attended, was that there was a missing information that when we engage with RAF at any committee sitting, it tends to also to compete in terms of time with other agenda items. We might not have been giving them more time to take us through on the issues, in particular the issues that would have raised, or so-called inverted commas, lacking for a better word on this one, the standoff between RAF and AG, as it were. And there were issues that were raised there, notwithstanding that 2022-23 financial year, AG did perform her responsibilities, and also the books were closed, having been signed by all affected parties, that the EA and the AG, as well as the board, through the RAF administration, that they've done it. But SCOPA is dealing with the year that was. But having noted some of the issues there, and also being alive that the RAF bill that is still within the I'll say the, what's it? It's within the department, let me say that, that we might not have a chance to really empower the incoming administration as to how to approach the issues and the lessons that would have learned in terms of the existence of a social club like a structure or entity, but also being treated as one of the SOEs that are governed by different laws, as it were. So hence we inserted that. That's an only difference or change on that one. On that day, we'll just be having a presentation on RAF. Will take us through also the genesis, and also moving forward, how do they think best the issues may be attended to. But to give them time and space whereby they take us through on other issues, whether we're going to change them or not, those ones legal matters, we can also interfere with those legal processes and matters. But it's fair enough. It's one of the important entity that accounts to this committee that we should be seen also paying attention to, since also it's got some lots of issues that other interested parties are interested in terms of its existence as RAF, as it were. So that's it. I'm not too sure, members, because all of us, we have received the program that for completeness, you can just populate it here on the screen. And I guess members then will indicate, noting that there's not much that we can insert here. Yes, indeed, there are entities and individuals that have been writing to us. The approach that I thought I must present here is that those issues that can be processed by MENCO so that they can be inserted on our legacy report, let it be, but also we must be seen from led by the chair that we do care and respond to people when they talk to us in writing to say that they would like to meet with us. But we are aware, members, that we don't have time. So other interested parties to meet the committee might not have time and space with the limited time that we have. Any taker? If there's no taker, I'll take it that the program is agreed and endorsed, and we shall move with this report and other matters. Then, as I indicated, we will process them for inserting them to our legacy report. But we must be seen also responding to those individuals and collective if they write to us. There is a hand from, is that Miss Valerie? It says,
yes, Chair.
Okay.
Yes, Chair, just for the record, is it possible to have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the draft program?
Have we ever did that? Because
yes,
okay, let me get that. If we have done that, because normally it gets presented, and then let me see if there are any hands, any mover and a seconder. Honorable Kumalo, are you audible? Honorable Makti, thank you very much. Your hand now, I can see it up. Over to you, sir.
Chairperson, I move for the adoption of the report. Thank you, Chairperson.
Of the program. Thank you very much. Seconder?
I do second, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kumalo. I know you do have a connectivity challenge. Thank you so much. It is accordingly adopted and agreed, and move and a seconder for record purposes. We have Honorable Makti and Honorable Kumalo. With that, honorable members, is the feedback by the chairperson on the request from stakeholders. I've just spoken to that. On this one, I've spoken to it, but what I'm going to do is just to make a template that indicates those issues, just for interest's sake, because one of the issues that Mr. Francos, yes, he wrote to us through to the chair. His issue was two-pronged. One was more of him wanted to be reinstated, having the matter have gone all the processes, but also had a view in terms of a rough bill. So we did have a meeting with him to listen to we did convene a meeting as MENCOP just to listen to him before processing his matter before the committee. Unfortunately, there was no show on the screen, notwithstanding that he was on the platform on the day. The other ones, we did meet them. We advised them how to deal with the matters, because it was more HR related as well as industry related, which then the department should, we refer those ones to the what you call it, to the department. The latest one that we have received was from is it Uber or is it Bolt taxi industry, that they would like to meet with us so that we can hear their space. Those are the ones that I'm saying that we will, through MENCO, have a platform with them and meet with them, and also get some information as to how the department intends to deal with it. I know there's a work around that, but also it's more of a safety and security issue that impacts in terms of their workings in their area where they work. We are attending to those ones. Other than that, we will populate and just give for all members to be aware. These are the correspondence we received and how we dealt with them, or we are intending to deal with them for the 7th Parliament to deal with them. But others, obviously, and naturally, the department must then deal with those individuals and bodies that would have written to us. Is there anyone, Ms. Valerie, that it's worth noting that I should highlight for the purpose of completeness, notwithstanding the template that I said we're going to circulate to all members?
No, Chair, those were the ones that that contacted you regarding presentations.
Yeah, because the last one that wrote to us as well to the chair for the committee was around the bill, the rough bill. And it was difficult to engage on that one because the bill is not even before the Parliament, even to the Speaker's office. So we did advise the writer to say, for now, there's not much that we can do formally. Must just ensure that he inputs on the publication so that the department, when it brings it, then his name also should be registered in terms of the areas and the views that he thinks the rough bill must be shaped. With that, honorable members, I guess we've got like 30 minutes. Let's go populate Honorable Ms. Valerie outstanding minutes for adoption. If there are any outstanding minutes from our last term.
Here is the minutes of the 21st and the 28th of November. That's still for adoption.
Okay. Okay, just scroll it slowly for members so that they can see their attendance and also those ones who have been recorded absent or apologies. Let's scroll it, continue. It was more around the safety plan for the festive season. And then after that, we're dealing with the outstanding minutes. Honourable members, may we get the mover and the second? I can see Honourable Makti.
Chairperson, I move for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of what happened in the meeting. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honourable Kumalo, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. I do second that minutes to be adopted. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the last set of minutes. We're at men dealing with the merchant shipping bill. That's the end. I can see Honorable Makti ahead. I'm not too sure it's permanently up or what, but I appreciate that. Honorable Kumalo.
Thank you, Chair. I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Makti.
Chairperson, you know, I like working, Chairperson. That's why I was in that meeting, so I second the adoption of the minutes. Thank you, Chairperson.
You were present, isn't it?
I was Chairperson. That's what I'm saying. I like working. Chairperson.
Oh, okay. No, good. No. I win. Honorable McD, thank you very much. Honorable members, that come to the conclusion of our meeting, and we'll meet in 2 weeks' time, because next week it's more SONA, dedicated for SONA, and it's debate. So it will allow members who will be partaking on the SONA debate to have time to do their speaking notes. Other than that, we highly appreciate your presence and your attendance. Equally goes to the department, and as well as all our parliamentary support as collective, without mentioning one, and the work that we have done so far. Thank you very much. The meeting stands adjourned.